Alright, let's start on your worksheet and let's see how we can do this. Actually, squares and rectangles is a very simple topic. It's a very short topic as well. That's why I choose to teach it over a video. Of course, some of you might not truly and really understand. Okay, if anything, please ask the teacher. If not, when I come back, I'll just do a quick recap on the whole topic, because I know face-to-face teaching is much better than video teaching. Okay, this is my first time doing videos, so it's a bit difficult for me to know where I have to focus on and where I have to slow down and stuff like that. So do bear with me. But along the way, if you need any help, do ask your friends, to ask a teacher that's around. Alright. Okay, let's start. I'm going to walk you through some of the examples. I'm not going to do every single question, but I'm going to start you off with some questions so that you know what is expected of you when you do your work, and if you're still not very sure, through this work, you will realize how it is done. Okay, let's look at page 99. This is, you have tear this out already. This is under 4A. You have tear this out already. Let's look at chapter 6, squares and rectangles, practice 1. Okay, fill in the blanks. What shape is this? You know that this is a rectangle. Okay, most of you, just by looking, you know it's a rectangle. But what makes a rectangle? You'll see that there are 4 right angles. All the angles are right angles. Okay, and you realize that one important thing is that opposite sides same, opposite sides same, and only the opposite sides are the same. Remember, for a square, all sides are the same. Rectangle, only opposite sides are equal. And for this case, it's correct. So is this a square? No, this is not a square. Why? Because for this case, I would say not all sides have the same length. Okay, if they have the same length, it will be a square. But the fact that not all 4 sides have the same length, that's why this is not a square. So why don't we do the same for A, for B, and C? If it's a square, tell me why is it a square. Why? If it's a rectangle, tell me why is it a rectangle. Simple as that. Alright, so with that, let's move on. I'm just going to show you some examples so that you can get started on your work. Okay, for this. Okay, same, I'm going to do A for you. A, B, C, D is a square. Sometimes we already tell you it's a square, so you don't have to go and check and stuff like that. We already tell you it's a square. So straight away you can tell me that this is a right angle, a right angle, a right angle, and a right angle. And knowing that this is a square, remember, what's the main thing about square? The main thing about square that differentiates it from a rectangle is that all sides are the same. So if this is 5 cm, this will also be 5 cm. This will also be 5 cm. This will also be 5 cm, because I know squares, can I just shift it up? Squares, all sides equal. This is what we learned just now. Okay, so of course, if all sides are the same, BC will be 5 cm. Okay, let's do one on rectangle so that you know what to do. Okay, now again, I tell you, it's a rectangle given to you already. Rectangle is given to you. And what we know about rectangle? Okay, rectangles, opposite sides are the different or equal? Same. Okay, same. Okay, for rectangle, we know that opposite sides are the same. So straight away, if FG is 7, opposite side EH will also be 7 cm. Okay, HG, opposite side EF, opposite, like your partner. Okay, so if HG is 2 cm, EF will be also 2 cm. And this is what I need you to do. Okay, I need for me, because we are still learning, it's given to you, I need you to highlight and then write about the properties of squares and rectangles, so that you keep reminding yourself, what is a square, what is a rectangle, the properties of a square, properties of a rectangle, so that even next time, P5, P6, or later during exam, if you don't have time to highlight, at least in your mind, that's the thinking process that you develop. A square, what is a square? A rectangle, what is a rectangle? And use what I know to answer the question. This is what we call habits. Alright? Okay, just now I said about the right angle and something about 90 degrees and stuff, and this is what we're going to use. Okay, let's just do A first. Of course, you have to do B and C, but let me start you off with A first. MNOP. MNOP. This is a rectangle. It is given to you already, a rectangle. So what I know about rectangle, okay, let's just write it down. Rectangle or angles are, what kind of angles are there in a rectangle? Or are right angles. And what we know about right angle? 90 degrees. So over here, right angle, I know, right angle, and over here actually is also a right angle. But you realize something over here. The right angle is actually being broken up into two different angles. One is A, one is angle A, one is this 35 degrees. So basically 35 degrees and this A add up to become your 90 degree. So it's basically this angle A plus 35 degrees. These two will add up to give you your 90 degrees. So how do I find angle A? Very simple. Angle A equals to 90 minus 35 degrees equals to 55 degrees. Okay, I will explain more when we get to angles, but in this case I just need you to know that right angles are actually 90 degrees. A plus 35 degrees equals to 90 degrees. And how do I get A? 90 degrees minus 35 degrees. Okay, the degree sign is very important, something that I will emphasize when we get to angles. Do not just use 90 minus 35. 90, 35 are just numbers. But with a degree sign on top, it tells you that this is about angles and not just about numbers. Okay, it's like dollar sign. If you don't put a dollar sign, I can say 90 cows, 90 cockroach, 90 mouse. Okay, but with a degree sign, I know you are talking about angles and nothing else. So the degree sign on top, the small little zero, okay, must be drawn properly, must be included in your working. Do not leave it out. Okay, so this is one example. Okay, I'm going to show you another example, a bit more complicated in this case. This is the last example I'll show you before you start your work. Again, PQRS, rectangle, highlighted. PQRS, rectangle. And again, rectangle, what I know. Okay, all right angles. I mark it down. I mark it down. I mark it down. I mark this whole thing down as well. So right angles, and I know right angles are 90 degrees. This is what I learned. Okay, so I want to find P. I realized that 18 degrees plus P plus 36. Let me just write it down. 18 degrees plus angle P plus 36 degrees give you 90 degrees, because all these three angles, this one, this one, this one, 18, P and 36 degrees add up to 90 degrees. So how do I find angle P? Same thing, 90 degrees minus 36 degrees minus 14 degrees. Not 14, 18, sorry, my fault. 18 degrees equals, if you do your sums, you realize that, give me some time. Okay, it's equals to 36 degrees. Let me just check. Yep, it's 36 degrees. So you realize that how to do this kind of question, firstly, you need to know what kind of shape is it, and when what kind of shape, what's the property of the shape, or right angles, 90 degrees. And then you come back to this one, you realize that this 18 degrees plus this 36 plus this P give you the angle 90 degrees, the right angle. So you just create a equation like that. 18 plus angle P plus 36 equals to 90. How do I get my P? I just need to use 90 minus off the 18 minus off the 36, give you my P. Okay, it's quite simple as that. So with that, try out first. If you don't understand, ask the teacher. If not, Friday I'll come back and I'll elaborate more on this. Alright, so you can start your work.